Hello and welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving into something really cool. One of the most exciting frontiers in skincare, longevity science. We're going to explore how scientists are starting to look past just treating things like wrinkles and spots one by one. Instead, they're trying to find and flip a single master switch that's already inside our own cells. You know, it really feels like everywhere you look, the conversation around aging is just getting louder and louder. And it's not just for older generations anymore. I mean, Gen Z and millennials are now spending big on high-end anti-aging stuff. And this isn't just about vanity, right? It's a very real anxiety about seeing those first signs that our skin just isn't bouncing back the way it used to. So let's get into this idea of modern aging anxiety. Because, when younger people talk about aging, they're not always talking about those deep set-in wrinkles. They're noticing this whole collection of smaller, much more subtle changes that are basically signals that the skin's repair systems are, well, they're starting to slow down. And these signs are just so relatable. It's that dullness you see after just one late night that seems to stick around for days. Or those fine lines around your eyes when you smile that don't quite vanish anymore. Maybe your skin just feels weaker, like its barrier is compromised more often. And then there are dark spots. In fact, research shows that for a lot of Asian skin types, pigmentation is actually one of the biggest early signs of skin aging, right up there with wrinkles and losing firmness. So, trying to fight all of these things individually, it can feel like you're fighting a war on like 5 different fronts. You might have one cream for your lines, a totally different serum for spots, and then another one for your skin barrier. It's just exhausting. And all of this led scientists to ask a pretty revolutionary question. What if you didn't have to play defense against every single one of those symptoms? I mean, what if you could find one single fundamental mechanism, a master switch, and just by activating it, you could tackle the dullness, the lines, the spots, and resilience all at the same time. I know it sounds a little like science fiction, but this is exactly where the most advanced research is headed. And that brings us to these things called sirtuins. You might have heard them called longevity genes. They're basically a family of 7 super important proteins that are found in every single one of your skin cells. The best way to think of them is like the general managers or the master regulators of your cells. They're controlling all the key processes that keep those cells acting young and healthy. So, in short, they are the master switch everyone's been looking for. So, how in the world do these sirtuins actually work? All right, let's get into the science of it, because this isn't just about surface-level stuff. Sirtuins are operating at the very core of how your cells function, and they influence pretty much every aspect of your skin's health and its vitality. Sirtuins are basically in charge of some of the most fundamental jobs inside your cells. As you can see here, they help repair damaged DNA, they manage inflammation, they oversee energy production, and they even regulate the skin's own natural antioxidant cycles. So when your sirtuins are active and working well, your cells are resilient, they're energetic, but when their activity starts to decline, all of these processes start to suffer, and that's when the signs of aging can really speed up. To really get how huge their impact is, check out this experiment from researchers in the field. They took regular skin cells, and they simply turned off one of these sirtuins, SIRT6, and the result was absolutely dramatic. Inflammation levels shot up by 400%. And the cell's DNA showed major damage. This just proves how critical these proteins are. When even one of them goes offline, the whole cell can be thrown into crisis mode. Now, a discovery like this doesn't just happen overnight, not at all. It's really the result of a decades-long commitment to understanding these longevity genes. Let's actually look at one company's research journey as a great example of how this science came to be. So, the cosmetics giant Estée Lauder, working with universities like MIT and Harvard, has been publishing groundbreaking research for over 15 years. This timeline here shows how they just systematically, piece by piece, unveiled the specific jobs of different sirtuins in our skin, from SIRT1's role in how cells multiply, all the way to SIRT6's connection to inflammation. It's this kind of long-term focus that helped build a really detailed map of how these genes actually work in our skin. And you see, the whole strategy here was different. While a lot of skincare approaches target individual things, boosting collagen over here, blocking melanin over there, the goal of this research was to find the root cause, The focus wasn't just on fixing problems as they pop up, but on finding that one switch that could help stop them from happening in the first place. Okay, so after all of that deep, foundational research, what's the next step? Well, you have to translate it into something real, something tangible. This is where all that science gets put into a bottle that you can actually use. 215%. So what is that number? Well, that's the boost in collagen regeneration that was seen in lab tests of a new technology designed to activate certenoids. And what's really amazing is that even when it was highly diluted, the effect was still super impressive. So this isn't just some marketing claim. It's a powerful demonstration that turning on these longevity genes can lead to real structural improvements in the skin. And this really leads to a fundamental shift in how we approach our daily skincare. The old way, as we know, often meant juggling a whole bunch of products for a whole bunch of problems. This new approach, which is powered by this master switch technology, aims to roll anti-aging, brightening, and repairing all into one single serum. The whole point is to make your routine way simpler while actually making the results even better. Now, at the heart of one of these formulas is a really incredible ingredient: black diamond truffle extract. It's sourced from just one specific region in France, and it goes through this painstaking 10,000-hour extraction process. And the reason for all that work is to isolate specific compounds that, in testing, were found to boost cellular energy and cut down on oxidative damage, which works perfectly with the sirtuin-activating technology. But of course, it's not just the truffle. The final formula is this amazing multi-pronged attack on aging. It's got specific extracts like kelp and watercress that were chosen specifically to activate sirtuins. It has patented brighteners like a vitamin C glycoside and molasses extract for a whitening effect. And, of course, it's got those classic repair ingredients to make sure your skin barrier stays strong. And you know, even though it's packed with so many powerhouse ingredients, the actual feel of it was a huge focus. The formula has this surprisingly lightweight, fast-absorbing texture that's designed to work for all skin types. The whole idea is to give you these really potent, luxury-level results, but without that heavy, greasy feeling that some powerful serums can have. So, what does all of this mean for the future of skincare? We are honestly looking at a potential new chapter here. The focus is shifting away from just patching up damage after it happens to fundamentally boosting the skin's own youthful functions right at the cellular level. And this quote just perfectly sums up the entire mission. It was never about a gentle nudge here or there. It was about a decisive action. As the researchers themselves put it, the goal was to find the core anti-aging switch and simply flip it. And that simple but incredibly powerful idea might just change how all of us think about skin aging from now on. Thanks for joining us on The Explainer.